Make sure I'm in focus. Are you in focus? Or what are you focusing on? So right now, I know you possibly are focusing on me sitting here in the studio, my back room, where I do all my work. People are constantly and apps are constantly trying to notify you, to let you know and to grab your attention. And we have to, and remember how they talk about paying attention? Believe me, if you don't understand what's going on with your time, with your life, with your focus, with your reality, actually, that's what will happen. Your reality will be created by these individuals or these people that want your attention, because attention is the new economy. As the saying goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. Attention is life. You give away your attention, you can never get it back. It's not just about focus either. Your attention is, it's like all of your life, not to be confused with intention, which we'll bring up later. You got to know that there is literally a fight we're dealing with right now more than anything, is how we can grab your mind. And you got to mark this, and I want you to know this, is attention is equal to also dopamine, right? It's, those things go hand in hand. And dopamine is a bodily chemical, part of your hormones, if you will. Its function from the brain, absolutely, it would be part of your hormones, because when you think about pleasure or pleasure seeking, it's something that drives that. But the thing also is it's driving life. It's not just pleasure. It's teaching you what fires together, wires together. That's talking about the brain and neural pathways. To break that down, you got to imagine, like, when you do something like you scroll on the phone, call it doom scrolling. When you scroll on the phone, it is trickling pleasure feeling. Well, really, it's a dopamine feeling, and it's teaching you, creating a pathway to do this thing. And it's making you want to do that more, all the way up until you get depleted of that. You can actually get exhausted from doing it. Don't even know why you're exhausted. Don't even know why you're tired. Don't even know why you can't really function or think, right? And so you end up developing addictions to this and needing it. It begins to shape your whole life. The systems like social media, but also the systems like Netflix, how they create these series, and these series are something that you could just watch over and over again. We're mixing psychology, neuroscience with marketing and branding and grabbing your attention. Literally, that's how Donald Trump won his presidency, is based on shock, awe, grabbing the attention of individual people that have this in almost like an innate feeling, something that they believed in deeply, right? Or can't pull away from. A lot of that is related to also religion, forms of Christianity, Western Christianity specifically. Like, okay, do you agree? If you don't agree with me, you're not following the Bible. And if you're not following the Bible, all of a sudden you're following the devil. All these things are playing to your psyche. The global war on your attention has more to do with your reality. We can shape your reality based on your focus, based on what you're giving energy to. Where attention goes, energy flows. Energy can't be created It's there. It just changes forms. I take from one energy to the next energy. Let's look at a plant. Like a plant's outside growing, but somebody has to plant that seed, cultivate the ground, energy. The sun has to, which is one of our massive energies, it has to feed the plant, right? Sunlight. The whole ecosystem is functioning, and this energy is changing forms. But one particular one that I believe is wreaking havoc on us is the fact that we need to understand what attention is, how big attention is, and how it's more than just your focus, how it's more than just putting some of your focus towards something. Energy is life. Attention is life. So your politics, corporations want your attention. They want you to pay attention to what they have, and they want to do anything and everything to get you to purchase. Even your job, which we could tie a lot of the effects of labor, capitalism, and slavery, like all that, those things, we can intertwine those things in terms of how do I get energy, attention of individuals to do what I want them to do in order for me to absorb their energy, absorb their life. No longer are these people on these social media streets, they're not just selling products, they're selling you. And we're purchasing it. And I'm here to tell you, like, it's the currency of the 21st century, and we're giving so much into it, and then we will contribute to it. I seen a post the other day of a guy, and it was like a guy in a classroom. And you could see the phone recording, you see a guy sitting there, and he has on a shirt that says something about, if this flag or this shirt bothers you, I'll help you pack. In other words, it's like, I get to wear my flag, and it's very divisive in a way. Like, this is my beliefs, political, and you can like leave the United States, like whatever. There's a lot of messages within it. A teacher walks in with a pink shirt, and he doesn't even see the guy's shirt. He walks in and he says, "What's that shirt you got on?" And the guy repeats with the shirt, "If you don't like my shirt, then I'll just help you pack." And the guy's like, "You get out of my classroom." The whole thing is a skit. It's a whole skit. There's 2,000 comments of people going in on why they don't like it, why the classrooms are messed up, why these teachers. Now, if you turn it and you put someone black in that, all of a sudden it's boom, in just almost like an innate thing to attack based on just history. We don't think about this history. It's only 60 years ago that you would be just looking at the legal factor, not necessarily as it's working through. But it's a whole skit designed to create a fear. That's another thing about attention. Create a fear in order to get you to believe in what it is actually pushing to create a reality so that you become part of this focus. And it doesn't have to be just something that will be Republican. Because here's the thing. Facebook is where it was at. Their goal is attention. Their goal is your eyeballs to be on it and to comment on it and to engage. This is also affecting your emotions, and it's shaping who you are and how you feel. This is affecting your physically, stress, fear. It's hijacking your health and holding as the system tries to hold your attention. Spiritually, attention is almost like a worship. Your focus becomes your God. And this is all kind of connected to neuroscience. This is connected to the brain. And so I'm really putting a lot of emphasis on this because whatever your dreams or your desires or your hopes are, it's really about setting intention. Intention is before I even put my life's energy into something, I'm going to be able to or want to be able to check it. I need to check my day from the start. I got to check it because these things, these phones and everything else, notifications, they are just trying to grab you. And right now, that's the thing that is literally destroying us from the inside out. Even other countries know that. They know that we don't go within. The average person in our country believes in this outside deity that we have read over the centuries, but yet though in history, and there's some wisdom and things of that nature that could be in the multiple scriptures. We only really mainly access one Western design scriptural references, and then the theology, the philosophy of God, which is what it is essentially, is no longer just a philosophy. It is something that we take full into heart and believe it to our detriment. And if you look at your life right now, most people, especially those that are so deeply engulfed into that life, and you've been doing it for 20 and 30 and 40 years, you review your life and you still have desires or hopes or dreams, or you look back at your life and you're like, well, I'm grateful because I'm told to be grateful. But did you meet your goals? Did you set your goals? Did you set intention? Right? And know that you have something within. I'm not saying that a person believing, I don't necessarily no longer believe anymore. I kind of know what I know. And I know that I don't know everything. And so, how do we take in that faith without works is dead? It's not necessarily work. This is also your attention, and this is also your intention. And attention has to do with your mind, and your mind contains thoughts. Right? You have thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, and you're so focused on what you don't even have power or control over, and you get lost in the chaos. You can't even decipher from the inside. You decipher from the top, right? And what I mean by that, that is how the brain works within the neuroscience. And so the bottom up distraction, so all of the buzzes on the phone and headline news and all of the drama, it's more of a bottom up distraction, right? And then we have a top down focus. That's where we choose. And so what happens is we're really lost into the buzz, and we're lost into everything that's going on, and we're distracted, but we don't even know it because we don't have the tools, and the tools that you can use in order to make those things come to light in order to change your reality are demonized. So we have this dopamine that is pushing you and teaching you and is training you. And then we repeat those behaviors. And the tools that are out there right now, from the big headlines that are driven by social media, that are driven by everything that's generating money, which is the energy to those entities, is pulling us. And seriously, we're losing our freedom of how we choose. Our free will is held hostage, and we don't necessarily have the free will, although we have the free will. You're going to make mistakes, but it's hard to explain when a person supposedly has this free will when you've been in a under almost like a spell, hypnosis. And it actually does change your reality. And it does affect you, right? You still have bills due. You still have things that are coming for you, right? And not in a bad way. I'm just saying coming for you in the sense of this is what we have to deal with. How do we handle life? How are we handling life? Especially when our whole entire world is being disrupted and overwhelmed with all of the distractors. It's not on purpose, folks. As we have our thoughts, our mind, our attention is like being ripped from us. Companies, I use Facebook and I use it for ads. Those companies are attaching, getting connected to your behaviors to make you deeply engulfed and ingrained into that so they can sell it. I've been a purchaser of your attention, your Facebook wall, leaning into your behaviors. And you click this, you click that. Okay, boom, they're ready to buy. In politics, they don't necessarily just need the vote first. First, they got to grab your attention. And it's like religion. They'll use fear, they'll use guilt, they'll use shame, and then they'll use the masses to come against you and say, look at him. Oh, what they're doing. Look at this. A lot of news that's independent now, they don't care about what's true. They care about what brings them more revenue. And so that means that they can have a layer of here's what's happening, but then they have a foundation of increased shareholder wealth, make you pay more attention to what they have. When you scroll, it's feeding. Scroll, it's feeding. And so what this is leading me to teach and to inform, because hopefully I have a lot of people's attention. And what I want to do is help you set the intention so that you can begin to focus on what you truly want and what you truly need, right? Because the things that we really need, like the Maslow hierarchy of needs, like love, right? Food, clothing, shelter, like those things that we need, and we can have different levels of those, but we lose a lot of that because we think it's just coming automatically. And so one of the things I know we need also is we need nature, because we are one with it. Like oxygen doesn't come from inside a house, right? Nature helps us. We eat part of nature, right? And we survive off of it. When you think of things like meditation, no longer do you have to think of meditation as a spiritual thing alone. It has to do with if you want to get your life back and begin to understand what's driving your life today. The law of attention is simply the truth of it is the shifting of your reality. When you give consent to your focus and your attention moving into your whole entire life and behaviors, that's going to become your world. So the whole world, for instance, as you're seeing shootings and as you're seeing all these things happening, it's a lot of chaos that has been built over time and not necessarily focusing on the true issues. If you have a fearful attention, that's going to create a fearful reality. If you have a love, peace, and harmony attention, it's most likely going to lead to a love, peace, and harmony reality. If you have a spiritual reality and you're leaning in towards that, it's going to lean more towards a spiritual reality. This goes back to my quote by Carl Jung. It says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. So our unconscious mind is being programmed over our lifetime. And the results that you have been getting, Malachi, have been based on this unconscious reality. And as I go through this, I've worked with, in the marketing and consulting field, I worked with $1 million to $30 million companies, helping them with their image, helping them with their brand, helping them with their business when it comes to bringing attention and the customer experience. I'm bringing something different, and that is taking my knowledge and understanding of marketing and what's happening today and my experience with psychology. And I'm going to show and I'm teaching people what's being used against them. But there is a even deeper spiritual connection to it all that we need in order for us to have an extend life, because we are at a space where we could be extinct as a species until it recreates as it done before. What we have to do now is begin to set intention. You got to reclaim your mind. You got to reclaim your thoughts. You got to reclaim your life. Up until this point, a lot of systems that have been put in place, everything from the educational system, the church system, the governmental system, which is tied to all of that, has got us to this point. Ebbs and flows. As we talk about currently, the civil rights movement, of course it wasn't perfect. Of course there was a lot of things that were beneficial to Black people, for instance, when they were together and they had their own economy of scale and they could build. But all of us have been affected with Walmart, Amazon, and capitalism when we don't look at it wholeheartedly. They want us to look at capitalism as the have-all be-all, and it's the best thing in the world. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that everything can be improved, especially how we treat others, especially how we have come into a world that makes us feel like we need better, 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 better. And we don't have a connection to be able to ask the question, is this what I need or is this what I want? It's okay. I don't think that we are in a world that we have to be poor or we don't have to be billionaires. I just know that we have a lot to learn, and we have a whole lot to learn about greed. And what does that mean? I've had desires, still have desires to enjoy the luxuries of life, and I still do. But balancing those worlds between bills paid and, the 30,000 square foot home with one person. I mean, right now I'm in a space where I'll just don't even focus on that. It doesn't require my attention. And if you have that, great. I don't even want to give it any attention, because how does that affect me today? That is the problem, is that we see these things and we run after these things. Is that necessarily for us or is that for them? That's maybe for them. They done it. They have it. It's in their world. Let's focus on what I do have and what I do desire based on my contribution to the world. Reclaim your attention. Having guardrails, like guardrails to keep you on the road. Maybe that guardrail will get damaged, but it keep you from going off into a ravine or a ditch. We'll look at that as willpower. And so sometime we have to put guardrails on. I have an app called Opal that forces me to think about when I'm going to go on social media between 9 and 4. I'm not paid by them, but I do know that all of us need to put on guardrails and have an awareness of what's going on with our minds, our attention, our behaviors, and how these corporations are taking advantage of the fact that we don't know this and we can't even pull ourselves from it. Setting attention from the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, the end of the day. You got to set intention on what matters to you first before these screens do, because they're going to do it. And then the individual people are going to act, the individual creators, as I am, are going to put some negative thoughts or some BS thoughts or something that you don't necessarily want or desire, right, in your life, because it's what's going on in their life. And they're just trying to grab your attention, grab your energy. You really need to learn more about intention, how to set it, how to create it, how to manage it. A lot of this is for the divine, authentic self. There's a divineness about who us, a godness about who we are. And there's an authenticity about that. And the self, as in the big S, not the little s, higher self, right? Or around you that's connected to God, if you will. It's not a self as in about me self. It's the self as in us self, right? From the selfish. So at nighttime, I want you to take an audit before you go to bed. And I want you to ask yourself, where was my attention today? Was it building me or was it bleeding me? Ask that question. And eventually, you need to have digital Sabbath. So that time that you're used to doing digital work, have a time that you're going to read a book. Have a time that you're going to go outside. Have a time that you're going to reconnect to the self. It's a practice. It's a process. it's part of your humanity. It's guiding us towards gratitude. So the drama and the fear and the things that's going on in the world, you have to be able to pull yourself out of that and breathe. Know that your attention is very sacred. I'm not just making this video for you. I'm also making this video for myself. And as I'm building this platform and using these attention-seeking applications so they can build their business and they can build their systems, they can build what they have. You've been led to my video. You've watched this long, and I hope you take a breath. I hope you take a beat and to begin to realize that you have choice, and that choice is hard to it's hard to work with when we have been beaten down and we have been misguided and we have been abused. Where your attention goes, energy flows. And if you want your destiny to grow, you have to really, really, really say to yourself right now that I want to change this. You got to understand you need to choose what gets your attention. Choose what you desire today. Think about your big picture and even your small picture. I'll review this video myself because as I'm making this video for you, it's requiring me to build a framework, a structure. It's requiring me to look at all the things that I have experienced, all the things that I know as a life coach and metaphysical lover. You could say teacher. It's a matter of the heart. Come from the heart. Be led by the heart. Learn how to love yourself. Because how I come to you is an energy. And this is going to rub off onto you. If you like this piece of content and you would like to learn more about the attention economy, a law of attention, because the law of attention comes kind of before the law of attraction. It's very important that we free ourselves from the distraction.